Hello, my name is MooingCat and welcome back to another beta recap. This time it will not be that long of a video, I don't think, but we do still have some very interesting stuff to talk about. I'll go quickly through some of the changes in the changelog. We finally have the main building of the anniversary event and it looks really cool in my opinion. And we also have some more images for the Guild Expedition level 5 update. So let's quickly start by going through two changes here in the changelog. This first one here on Tuesday, the global ranking was still available from the global menu even when thatched houses were not researched yet. It will now be locked until then. Now this probably doesn't sound like that big of a deal, but for me personally, it is quite annoying. Because if you have seen any of my stream, the way I do my city reviews is that I go here into global, to the global ranking, and then I search for the player. I can click on that player, click on the icon, and that way I can visit their city. That will now no longer be available right after you have completed the tutorial. So in order to get that list now, you have to research. Well, this is thatched houses. This is on the German server, but this is the thatched houses technology. So you need 18 additional forge points beyond what you get for free. That means that you have to wait, well, at most 18 hours. You can buy some forge points, but regardless, this means that you can't just start a new city, go through the tutorial in 2-3 minutes, and then visit someone's city through the ranking list. That is no longer available. Now, luckily, there is still one workaround to visit the players' cities. So, for example, if I want to visit Portuguese cities here, for example, I can go into messages, I can create a new one, and if I add that player, let me spell it right, Portuguese, I have caps lock on, but hopefully it's still, yeah, there we go. So if I add that player, click on that player, and then the icon, I can still visit that way, so it's not the end of the world yet. But it is annoying. You can't, for example, go to the global list, go to the top page and look at all the top players of a world. You would have to go to a third-party website, see who are the top players on that world, and then write out their names in the new message in order to actually visit their cities. Not a big deal for most people, but for me personally at least, it's quite annoying, so I'm not looking forward to that being released on live. The second change here, it could happen that after an event started, many actions related to the event did not work, like clicking on the quest overview or placing the event building. This was hotfixed for the Forge Bowl event and the cause has been fixed now. So I heard quite a bit of talk about the event being broken the first, I don't know, couple of minutes or hour or two of the event last week. I wasn't around to play then, so I didn't experience any of that, but in the past, sometimes events have been a little bit buggy right after they have been released. That should now be fixed with this change here going forward, and it was also fixed for the football event, so hopefully that is not an issue anymore. That's about it for the changelogs. Don't really want to go through the other points. You can find this linked in the description if you want to go through it yourself. So let's move over to the spoilers, starting with the anniversary event. And here we have some quite interesting things to talk about. First of all, we now finally have the main building for the event. It is 3x7, so quite an unusual shape. It's the same shape as the side room mill, for example, the highest level of that. So yeah, quite unusual. Most buildings are longer in the other direction, so I think it's nice to see a change. The other very unusual thing is the style of the building. Here we have a very futuristic style, which is something that we rarely see in the game. So I really like the look of it. I think it looks really cool. It has 11 levels. This is level 10. And then at level 11, it has 4 variations. So A, B, C, and D. We don't, of course, have any names for it yet, but these will probably all have different names. Now, one thing that I don't really like is that if we go down here, we have a golden upgrade kit, which is what that was introduced in the St. Patrick's Day event. And if you don't know, the way it works there is that the final level requires a special upgrade kit, this quote-unquote golden upgrade kit here, so you can't get it through the regular upgrade kit. In the St. Patrick's Day event, originally that was kind of locked behind real money. Not quite, you could get it for free as well, but was definitely not guaranteed. That's still the case in the St. Patrick's Day event. But fragments for this kit has also been added to the level 10 building in the St. Patrick's Day event, so hopefully that will be the mechanic here as well, where if you don't get it fully leveled, you will get it eventually through fragments from the level 1 below the last level. So we'll see how that is implemented. I'm not a big fan of it, but hopefully it is fine. As for all of these, I really like the look of them. I do think it's a bit interesting that this one seems to be very different from the other three. The other three here seems to be mainly about the style or the colors of the buildings, but this one is completely different, so that's interesting. So yeah, it'll be fun to see how these are, what stats they give, and so on. I imagine at least one of them will be good. Let's at least hope so. So, we also have a secondary building. I do believe that was known last week. I think I showed it. So here it is again. If you didn't watch that video, it is 3x2, so quite small. Now, I did have a quick thought that this perhaps was a chain building below this because the size would fit, but stylistically, I don't think so. The style doesn't look right, and it also has 4 levels, which no chain building has had so far, so probably not a chain building, probably just a regular secondary building. So yeah, who knows what it will give. It is 3x2, so possibly, perhaps similar to the sleigh builder. I think that would be interesting. Another production building, wouldn't mind that. Anyways, we also have some kits, as I mentioned. We have the upgrade kit for the main building, the golden upgrade kit, which is most likely for the final level, and selection kit, which interestingly, as you can see behind here, has the golden kit as one of the options. So perhaps this will be available through leagues, for example, in this event, because there are leagues. So that way perhaps, or you would get that kit from the league, for example, if you didn't get it through the other means in the event. So we'll see how that works. Then we also have upgrade kit and selection kit for the secondary building. And we have 2 epic kits this time. One for the anniversary event, which will most likely include buildings from previous anniversary events. So the Golden Ovary, for example, from last year. Stage of Ages should probably be available there. The King set, I forget what it's called, that we got in last year's anniversary event. And I don't quite remember what we got in the 5th anniversary event. I wasn't around then, but I imagine those will be available there as well. And then we have this other kit here, the Epic Historical Questline selection kits or questlines. This will probably give reward buildings from historical quests, which were a thing a couple of years ago. Some of the buildings that you could get there includes the Botanical Rotunda, Checkmate Square, Magnum Opus, I'm sure, and plenty more as well. So this will probably be a selection kit for all of those. Probably as a daily special, I would imagine, but who knows. So yeah, that's also quite interesting to see and would be fun to see. Now, one thing, the image here is for the scrolls, I believe, and tablets from the archaeology event. So I don't know, it might be a placeholder because earlier we did see a few other placeholders in this event from the archaeology event, but the name itself for this kit here, never mind. It doesn't actually mention the anniversary event in the name itself of it, so it might not be for this event, but because it was added at the same time as all of these other ones here, I do believe it will be available in the anniversary event. So that's some interesting changes. We also have some updated loading screens and info screens. So here we can see the main building. I believe we could see that last time as well. But the main loading screen here has now been updated. We can see the building in full. It was blurred out last time. The loading screen B here has been updated with the building, the main building. And we also have another loading screen for the secondary building, so 3 loading screens this time. Yeah, I think all of these look really cool. This one will make for quite a nice thumbnail when the time comes for my guide, probably. At least for my first impressions video, this will be my thumbnail background. So yeah, nice to be covered there. Anyways, in addition to all of those, we also have a lot of sound effects and a background music for the event. So what I'll do is that I will first play the background music in full without me talking. It is 2 minutes long, so if you just want to skip through it, you can skip 2 minutes ahead in time. I will also add a timestamp in the video for where I start talking again. So without further ado, here is the background music for this event. Alright, so there we have the background music for the event. Let me know what you think in the description, in the comments. Personally, I quite like it. I do feel like the kind of the old and new style elements of the song kind of clash a little bit. But overall, I quite like it. So yeah, looking forward to hearing it in game. Now, what I did while you were listening to that was that I opened all of the other sound effects, and I think I'll go through them one by one, so we can kind of hear, or can't perhaps tell too much about what the event will be, but we can at least hear some more of that kind of slightly futuristic style of the event. So let's go through them one by one, starting with, that was the button tap. Not quite sure how, it sounds like a door opening if you ask me, but that's the button tap. Chest active, which I don't know, probably opened, or you probably hear this if you open a chest, I imagine, or perhaps unlock a chest. Chest claim, so that's probably if you claim a reward, I imagine, from a chest. So perhaps the other one was for unlocking it, and this for opening and getting the reward, perhaps. Converter key, so this is for converting keys. As you saw last week in my beta recap, there are a lot of keys in this game, and you can combine key parts into a full key. So this is probably for that. Fixed piece merge, which I know is probably for merging gems. That's, yeah, we don't really know how that will work, of course, but that's the speculation now, that you merge gems and combine them into higher levels. Fixed reward, so again some sort of sound connected to getting a reward, perhaps. Free piece merge, that one I'm gonna be honest, I don't really know what that might be, but something about merging. pieces, or yeah, merging pieces. Full key merge, which probably also connected to merging keys, I imagine. GP reward, grand prize reward, perhaps a reward when you unlock a reward, a grand prize. I'm not sure if they're... I usually don't play with sounds, so I don't know if that's usually a thing. Hint, which is interesting. Probably tells you if you're doing something wrong, perhaps. Highlighting something you're doing wrong, perhaps. Who knows? Invalid merge, which is interesting. Tells you what you can't do, I imagine. On grid tab. I don't know, probably if you click on the grid, I imagine then. Reset board. As I mentioned last time, you can reset a board. Spawned stock, can't really tell too much out of that. Spawner invalid, some sort of invalid message. And finally, spawner used. Again, don't really know what that means. Probably if you try to use a spawner, which we don't really know what exactly that is, but yeah. So that's the sound effects. Not sure if you can tell too much about the minigame from them, but I think they kind of tell us more about the style of the event, similar to the buildings, quite futuristic if you ask me, and I think they're quite cool, the sound effects, so looking forward to try it in game to see how it actually works. Perhaps this will be an event where I actually have sounds on, because as I mentioned, I usually don't. Anyways, that's it for the anniversary event. Let's move on finally to the Guild Expedition. We don't have too much new here, but we do have quite a big one, which is the background for the next level, for Guild Expedition level 5. So here it is in all its glory. Thanks to Beelzebub for compiling it. So yeah, looks really cool if you ask me. It's quite a change from the volcanic that we had in the last level. It kind of feels like you're going back to something nice and pleasant from level 4. But yeah, it does look really nice. Kind of see the remnants of the volcano there. So kind of like it has overgrown again. And this is sometime after the volcano has happened. So yeah, that's interesting. And I also want to share this that Ninja here made, or drew over the image. A very cool looking dragon. Not sure if that's on purpose or not. It's of course the same layout as previous levels, so nothing has changed there. But yeah, it looks really cool, I think, with the kind of the dragon. So that looks really cool. The name for the background here is Lush, which definitely fits. It's probably not something that will be used in game, because the previous levels are called easy, medium, hard, and it's volcane in game. I'm not sure if that's just a typo for volcano, but a volcane. Not sure if that's a word even. But that's how it is spelled in game. So that's the previous levels of the Guild Expedition, and this one is Lush. Definitely fits the name. So yeah, we are slowly getting more and more assets for the event, for the expedition. Last time around we got the fortifications that looked really cool. So I'm hopeful that in not too long we will start getting, or we will get an actual announcement, and then the event, the level itself will be added to beta. So hopefully in not too long we will be able to test it. But for now, we will have to do with the images of the level. Alright, I think that's it for this week, but before I end, let me thank my Patreons for their support. I would like to thank Homestar, Fort Prefect, Lorden, Drogonobin, Kim Cayley, Rolf the 8th, PQ the Goat, Dan Suminad, JT, Chanty, Merrick B, Hugo Kant von Count, Jan Fredriksen, Judith Jonas, Filda, Susan Weiss, Rocco, Burton Emrys, Henrik der Erklärberg, Mattia, Obsidy Obsessed, Raph, Adaril, Mike, Wolfboy, Atomic, Ruth, Flavius Belisarius, and Karen. Thanks a lot for your support. Thanks for watching, take care, and I will see you in the future.